Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Can people see the way you found services in the past?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right, let me tell, my name is Ed Fridie. I have a company called Friday Night Design. We've been in business, believe it or not, almost 10 years. I've worked in technology for major corporations for many years, starting with Xerox and the Bell companies. And eventually I wanted to start my own business, which I did. And I started doing web design work. And that evolved for two reasons. One, the prices of websites really came down. The tools became a lot faster and easier to use. And the evolution, I started going to New York, attending a lot of conferences, and started meeting people who were working with websites and the internet, but they were speaking a whole different language that I was familiar with. They were talking about pay-per-click and hang time and the different aspect of marketing using the internet. And I saw some money that was typically on television and radio now starting to move over into the internet space. So, with that change, we started doing content for companies. And the last few years, we've added doing social media ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. We're getting a handle on doing TikTok ads as well as content now. So that's a little bit about my company. So if you see this picture, and I'm glad Mary mentioned she didn't know much about websites, but if you remember this ad, this is how people used to find your businesses. You remember the let your fingers do the walking? You remember those ads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, people don't do that anymore. It was funny. A couple of years ago, there was a blackout here, or the internet went down for some reason. And I remember telling my son, who was probably like 10 or 11, he wanted to find some phone number. And I told him, I'll go downstairs and use the phone book. And he kind of looked at me real puzzled, like, what's that? And it just shows me how, this is something that all of us probably grew up with. And now a whole generation doesn't even know what it is. What's a phone book? So how do people now find your services and your products? They're doing it online. They're finding it through your web pages. They're going to see your advertising on social media. And this is where everybody is. Now your website is pretty much your business card now. I was working with somebody who a few years ago did not have a website. And I just started talking to them. Okay, when you find a product and service that you're interested in, what do you do? Well, they said, well, I go and check out their website. That's why you need a website, because people will look, they might not tell you, but they're going to look and see, what services you have. You might not get the business, but at least they'll have an idea of what you do. And that's why it's important to have a website. And I'm going to just cover that just for a few minutes, the different types of websites broadly. There are two basic kinds of websites. There's a business website, which is for informational services. And then there's an e-commerce site. I want to sell something on the internet. I want people to be able to look at products and pull out their credit cards and pick out the size and color, and I want to ship it to them. So those are the two broad categories that websites fall into. And this is what a informational or business website. This is Dr. Rooter. It has their phone number. It tells about their services, what they cover. You see pictures of, of what they do, and they can get coupons. And even though, they might even sell a few things on here, but this is basically information about their their service and products. So if I had a problem with my plumbing, I would probably Google, and depending on where they're located, it might, this website might come up, and I can see, what their prices are, and if their services, if they do what I need done. Okay. All right. The other type of website is your e-commerce site. E-commerce is that I want to buy something, and probably most of us have bought things now on the internet. This is a shoe company. They have pricing. If you notice up here on the corner, there's a little cart there. And if I go further into their website, I'll see pricing. I can pick out the different brand, colors and the different sizes. And I want to be able to put my information in there and, buy it online. And this is what saved a lot of companies during the pandemic, having a website where they can sell their products and services without having people come into the store. Even in, with restaurants now, most restaurants now, you can call to order, but they often have websites where you can place their order without even talking to anyone. Okay, so those are the two broad types of websites. So the thing to remember is, based on your business and service, what kind of website you need. You need a business one for information, or are you trying to sell products and services and you need an e-commerce site? As far as platforms and e-commerce, probably one of the wider used ones is Shopify, but there are other ones, WooCommerce, and there even GoDaddy now, you can build an e-commerce site. My recommendation, if you're thinking about this, you need to know, okay, what size store do I need? Am I going to sell 20 things, or I'm going to sell 200 things? And then do your research on the site, and then read reviews. Anytime I see a software that I'm not familiar with or a service, I always Google the product and reviews, and I just read reviews. And people are fairly honest. They tell, their experience, they like it, what they don't like it, what it's good for. One of my clients was thinking about getting a GoDaddy e-commerce site, and I was not that familiar with what the reviews were. So I reviewed it, and I looked at the reviews, and it seemed like that if you're doing a smaller e-commerce site, that'll be good. But if you're doing a big one, that's not the way to go at that time. This was a few months ago. So they would recommend a more robust e-commerce site. So these are the things to keep in mind. You can own your own domain name. Again, you would choose a platform that is used by a lot of people. And what I mean by that is that you can have people build websites for you, or you can use an e-commerce site. And I always recommend go with a platform that a lot of people use, because if you need help, there are literally hundreds or thousands of people that you can find, get help with that website that you're working on, as opposed to somebody has a great deal, very few people use it. And I actually worked with somebody built them a site on a platform that's very popular in Europe. I had never heard of it. Again, I've been doing this for 10 years. I never heard of that platform, and they could not find anybody to help them edit their website. So those are the things you need to keep in mind. But you see that note in the bottom? After getting a website, you still need to promote it. Because if you have a website and you don't promote it, that's like the best kept secret, your business and your website. Any questions?
I mean, I have some, but I think I can wait until the end if you wanted to do it that way. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Just jot them down. So if it's dealing with website, maybe we could, take one question now.
Well, I mean, one of them I was thinking about, because you started talking about the website itself versus social media, which is a big push at a lot of people. So how do you feel because I've even heard somebody say, like like having an app on my phone is equivalent to what the website was, back in the day. So how do you feel about that perspective?
Well, I would say is, for example, some people don't have a website and they might use their Facebook page as their door onto the internet. Well, and which is searchable. Somebody can search it. And it never hurts to be on all those social platforms. But the thing is that those customers are Facebook's customers. They are Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. They could turn things on or off and will affect your business. Whereas if you use those, which I always recommend, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but if you have your own website and if you can control it, if you own your content and your email list and all that, they can turn it off, but you're still in business. Where if you have all your information on one of these platforms, and it could be eBay, or you built, or even Amazon. You can have websites. You could use their services, but again, they changed their policy. Or even YouTube. Some people have built built channels with thousands of users. YouTube changed their policy. Boom, they lost all their content and their contacts. So you have your own website. I mean, you can survive those things. Did I answer your question?
Oh, very much. I mean, I'm ultimately extremely familiar with all of this stuff, but I'm just putting that out there, and from the perspective of our users. But that actually did help me with one of the answers that I have to give to people, because I'm extremely technical, but not always able to express it to, what, like most of our users who are on this call, they'll be users of it, not necessarily the people who will be understanding of the technical part. But being able to answer that for them would be helpful, So I think that your answer was very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Now, again, this is the question that you want to try to keep in mind. Are your customers thinking of you? And this is referred to as top of mind. When somebody has a tax question, who do they think about? If somebody needs their computers repaired, who comes to mind? You don't want to hear, oh, I just bought that. I didn't even know you did that. I forgot about it. That's you want to, again, stay top of mind of your customers. And social media, and as well as email, are good tools to use to keep your name and services in front of your customers and get new customers. Okay. So who's using social media? And this is practically everybody now. I read something recently that television watch time, your traditional television watch time, has gone down. More people are watching social media videos. That includes YouTube and TikTok and Instagram Reels. All those are outpacing traditional television. So you can reach these people using these tools relatively cheaper than if you did a commercial. Okay. Now, again, I'm not knocking, print ads and flyers and television. Those are all ways of communicating with people, but social media is a very effective way in getting in front of your right audience very economically. Okay. Now, on the news lately, because of Elon Musk, he bought Twitter. So I've always used Twitter, but I probably in the last few months have not used it as much as I used it in the past. But it's getting a lot of publicity. But I don't know if you're aware, Twitter has 436 million users. So there's a number of, it has a lot of people who still use Twitter. And
They think they're
according
going
to
to continue.
Twitter, their user base is high income. So if we have a high income product, might be useful to use that particular tool as a social media, to continue to use it. Now, one way of using it is Twitter, again, is all conversation. And you could type a question. I'm working with somebody who is thinking about opening an online, they're thinking about opening an online shoe store. And I always ask people, like, why'd you want to get in that business? As they were growing up, they always had difficulty finding shoes. So they're opening up a store addressing the issue they had. So they figured other people are in that same situation. So if you went to Twitter and you typed in for a subject, I need shoes, I love shoes, you would find other people who've commented on that. And those people who write or comment about that particular subject are all potential customers that could be interested in your shoe store and your product. So that's one way of using Twitter as is more than just something that you can, talk to people on, but you can use that as a way of getting your, finding out how to get in touch with those users on Twitter who might be interested in your product. Okay.
Question. Do you think that with Elon Musk buying Twitter is going to affect the number of users?
Well, I just read something today that he expects to double the number of users on Twitter.
Not what he thinks. What do you think about it?
I think he has brought a lot of attention to Twitter. So just by being it on the news, they got people saying, yeah, we haven't used Twitter in a while. Let me start using it. I'm sure it's going to get a bump. Yeah. Again, according to Twitter, they and everybody keeps, they know who their demographics are. They were just saying that, as far as the United States, there's a high income user group on Twitter. So, just keep that in mind. Okay, I hear beeping. Is that a question coming in? Okay, all right. So you can use these different social media platforms to cross promote your other social media. Now, again, this evening, what I did, I went through a couple of my presentations. I pulled out things that I said, well, people probably, they know about certain things, but I'm just going to add some things that they might be of interest. Okay, so this isn't not how to use Twitter, but this is just a reminder that Twitter is a widely used tool. It's getting a lot of interest, and you can use it to, again, find people who are interested in your service. Okay, just try that. Go to Twitter and just type in whatever I like or I want something, and just see how the response you get. Now, I use Twitter, and I bring this is something from one of my tweets that I posted something, and if people like it, I respond back, and I says, oh, connect with me on Facebook. So I use Twitter as a tool to bring people over into my Facebook world. So again, you don't have to keep everybody on the same platform. You can pull people over into different areas. And again, that's becoming the norm now. For example, people might build awareness on TikTok about their product and service, and then bring them over to Instagram or another platform to make the sale or develop that content. So at one time, one would probably say, I'm going to just focus on a particular platform, Instagram, and that's it. But now the strategy is you want to be kind of everywhere. You want to be on Pinterest. You want to be on TikTok. You want to be on Instagram. You want to be on Facebook. Okay. Now, speaking of Facebook, I said, well, connect with people on Facebook. Is Facebook still relevant? Do people still use Facebook? Well, according to my 19-year-old son, Facebook is for old folks, but those old folks have money. So, so, who do you want to sell to? And they still have like over 2 billion users, active users. So Facebook is still a very viable platform. And I post, and run ads on Facebook, still, right? Now, the way Facebook works is you post content on Facebook, and you might have people who like your page. Now, I'm talking about business. I'm not talking about personal. And again, if you have a business, I would separate personal and your business. You can set up your own business Facebook, because the things you have on your personal, you might have family, you may have things like that. You don't want to share with the world. Where a business, you want to have your product and services out there. Set that up separately. But if you have people who like your Facebook business page and you post something, Facebook will say you have 100 people who like it. They might just show that post that you created for maybe 5 or 6 people. You say, well, what about all those others? How Facebook makes money is by selling you, letting you advertise to those other people. So you can pay Facebook little as $5 a day, $2 a day, $15 a week to reach 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. So that's how they make their money. So it's a very effective way of reaching your audience. So, and also you can target who you want to show your information to. Maybe I have I'm selling cosmetics. I want to show it to women. I want to show it to women who live in a particular town. I want to show them, people have a certain interest. Maybe these are people involved with sports. So I can narrow my target audience to show those people my product and services. Okay. So if I do it right, if I have the right message in front of the right audience, you should get some type of response right away. And if it doesn't work, that means you either got to tweak your message or tweak your targeting. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you still find it effective though after all of the changes on iOS and all of the privacy changes and everything? Because it's giving me fits.
It's hard. It's harder. You just have to figure out a way to reach your audience. And the question is, let's see, what Apple's done. Okay, if I visit a website in the past, by my just showing up on that website, I kind of get a tag put on on me. And you may have seen this where you went to one website and then you go to another website and you see an ad that you just looked at last week or a couple days ago, and that ad seems to be following you around. Does everybody relate to that?
Yeah.
So what Apple has done with their latest release is that they've made it harder to track people that way. And Google says they're going to do the same thing. So you have to be a little more, I guess, creative to be able to target people in the way they have, in the way that you've done in the past. And that's why often when you go to a website, you'll see, it'll say, okay, we have some type of tracking on this. Do you accept? So most people will say yes, but you can always say no, and you can limit what they're able to track.
Yeah. And I know Facebook has placed restrictions on, like, you can't target by religion anymore or ethnicity, which for me, I my, customer base is African American. So that made it very difficult to not be able to do that. You know what I mean? So I did have to try and get creative, but it just seemed to be.
Yeah. So what you do is you try to find people who like, your user group, African Americans. Right. If I could target people who like the Essence magazine or the BET Awards. So that's how you figure out how to reach my audience other than, by race. And, so you just have to give some thought to figure out how else can I reach my target audience?
All right, I'll keep trying.
Edward, can I ask a question? This is Juanita.
What was that?
May I ask the question?
Sure. Who's that?
Juanita.
Okay.
How effective are hashtags right now with the analytics?
I still use them. I'm gonna have something over there in a second.
Oh, right.
I still use them. Okay. All right. Hold that. You'll see that come up in a minute. All right. So one of the ways to one strategy that is used to kind of get people's interest in your information is play on some of the local news, the things that people see on the news all the time, and make a comment about it, or make something, some reference to it. Now this was a couple months ago during the pandemic. One of these reporters, he was doing an interview and he didn't realize that the camera caught his leg. He had his suit on the top, but he had his shorts on the bottom. And that was, I guess, and that was, the news for the, for the moment. People were, that was a topic of conversation. Now, one company played off on that. They ran an ad, my coworkers and me are ready for another day of Zoom. So this company, they sell, I think, shorts, but they they made a comic reference to this news item, even though it's funny. And you can see that, it had, 795 likes, and it got shared over 278, times. So sometimes if you, think of some of the news things, that now that everybody seems to be aware of, what's his name, Johnny Depp, what happened with Dave Chappelle, somebody ran on him, up on him, so these are things that people are aware of. So if you could somehow utilize that, what people were talking about in your posting or advertising, sometimes that will get a good boost from that. Okay. Okay, now going to hashtags. This is a group, and you see this is a sample of a hashtag. And this is a family group. I think they are a bunch of singers, but you see how they use several hashtags. Hashtag smile, hashtag tomorrow, hashtag stay home. How does that affect the exposure of this content? Well, people follow some of these hashtags. Actually, people follow all those hashtags. And I'm going to look at, so we're going to look at tomorrow, hashtag tomorrow. If you see 125,000 people are posting about this. So by including that hashtag to their content, you're getting a wider exposure of that content from people who follow those hashtags. So the question is, yes, I still use hashtags. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Somebody might see it, your content, that they may not have seen it in the past. Okay, another strategy of getting awareness and building a list, and a preference is that I've worked with folks who they ran one ad and they didn't get the success. As I said, I ran this ad and I see people watched it, but I didn't get any sales, and they stopped doing it. The key to social media marketing, as far as every marketing, you got to be consistent. People have to see you 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they even, remember what you do, or if you're new to them. If running an ad one time worked, why would Geico spend as much money as they do running ads over and over and over and over and over again? Because they're trying to keep their name in front of their clients. They want to stay top of mind. So again, these are just different tools that you can use to build your list and being consistent with putting things out. Now, one way is a giveaway. And you can do giveaways on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest. I'm on a variety of different platforms. And this is an easy way to build an email list, because if people take the time and enter your giveaway, and how it usually works is that I'm going to give this away. And this is a sample. A lady is giving a cat t-shirt. It doesn't have to be a high value item. And people will enter this with their email. And all of a sudden she has 100, 200, 300, 400 people on her list that she didn't have before. So if you can see this, want this shirt right now, use this code, for 20% off, and enter a chance to win an I Speak Fluent cat, so how much this shirt costs, and we should give a couple away. She might gain a couple hundred, if not a few thousand, new emails. And there are also sites that, if you Google giveaway or raffle, there are sites that just list all the hundreds of different raffles and giveaway programs. So besides her posting this, if she puts this on one of these sites that people go to, is going to get, her brand or products will be, get a wider reach. Okay, so let's see. So, okay, this is what she's doing. I Speak Cat. Enter your email below to get a chance to win. It has a countdown, so it's not, so they know they have to do it in 14 days. And, so this is a pretty inexpensive way for her to get a pretty big email list for people, for her target audience. Okay. Now, how do you build these? If you Google giveaway tools, you'll find a lot of different ones. This is just one called Rafflecopter. Rafflecopter is the world's easiest way to run a giveaway. So this one works on basically on websites. So, but there are a lot of these type programs that you can run on Pinterest and Facebook, Instagram. They're easy to set up. Okay, so you don't have to hire a developer to build these things for you. Okay, talking about Pinterest. Pinterest is, it's almost like a search engine now. It's a good way of getting exposure about your services, especially if you have products. If you have products, you want to have it on Pinterest, because people will discover, discover what, you on Pinterest, and then you can take them to your site. You can take them off. So Pinterest is definitely should be part of your strategy, especially if you have a product that you're selling. Yeah. Okay, and TikTok is like the hot one now. 1 billion people on TikTok, and it's very addictive. A lot of these videos are 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you start watching, next thing you know, an hour's gone by. So at one time, TikTok, it would be kids dancing, But now I see attorneys, you see real estate agents, you see people doing social media, people selling all sorts of things now. So, you know, people's eyes are there, people are there, and you know, they're developing, you know, ways to run ads on TikTok and how to, you know, sell from TikTok. And again, the strategy up until, you know, to recently is, you know, you would get exposure because it's easy to put out these videos and get, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people watching, just being aware of them. And then, you know, then you bring them over to a site where you can actually, yeah, sell them. But I'm sure TikTok wants to keep people on their platform. So they're putting out tools that you can buy from TikTok. Okay. All right. So what makes social media interesting? Why would you watch it? Why would you read it? Why would you listen to it? Is content. You know, so if you have interesting content for your target market, if you're a realtor and you have how to buy houses, how to deal with getting loans, the people who are interested in buying houses are going to find you. If you are a gardener and you garden and you have content relating to seeds and soil and plants and things of those sort, you know, those people have that interest, will follow you. And as you build your audience, you know, you can sell to them. So these are things to do or consider when you post. Does your post have value? Okay. I mean, sometimes people put stuff up like, you know, cat videos, but you know, is that going to really keep a lot of people there? Does what you offer a service or what you post have value? Does it fit in with the network's mission? So the network is it Instagram? If it's Facebook, is it TikTok? You know, at one time, each platform kind of had their user, you know, I would say a majority of users. You know, but again, a lot of this is crossing over now. Again, for example, like I said, Facebook, it has an older audience. So is what you're selling is something, you know, would appeal to them. So that would be, does it fit in with their mission? Is this the best format for the post? And the format means if it's a picture, is it the right size? If it's a video, is it the right size? Is it the right length? Am I posting this at the best time? And again, a lot of these answers can be Googled. You know, when's the best time to post on Instagram? And it will tell you. So these are all the things to consider. Yeah. All right, and when you post, you don't have to post individually. There are a lot of tools that you can on a Sunday afternoon, you can schedule all your posts, you know, for weeks and months ahead into the future on all those platforms. And this is one of many. Buffer is one that, you know, I think for $10, $15 a month, that lets you, you know, set up your schedule and post, post your content for weeks and a half. But again, if you Google posting schedules, yeah, a lot of things will come up. Actually, Instagram Studio, you know, a lot of these platforms are using these or are integrating these services into their platforms where they didn't have them before. Okay, let's see. Now, where do you get content from? This is something that I was talking to. I did a presentation on some time ago. It's Creative Commons, and what Creative Commons does, it gives you, as a creator, it allows you to license your work out. I'm a photographer, and I don't need to sell all of my work, but I would like other people to use it. So I can post it and have a Creative Commons license so that other people can use it. And I can determine, okay, if they want to use it on their website, okay. If they want to use it on a t-shirt and sell it, I want a percentage of the sale. So you can customize how you use Creative Commons licensing. As a user, this is a great way to find, inexpensive pictures, sound, video. And these are some of the codes, and I'll show you in a minute. So these are the codes that you will see some next to content that's available. CO means, people put the content out, they put a picture out, and they don't care who uses it. Whereas some of this, okay, you could use it, but I want you to tell the people that I created by. And then you might want to put it out, they could use it, but you don't want it used for commercial purposes. So these are all the different licenses that you can get by, from Creative Commons. And they have a website, and there are a lot of places that you can get this content from. And this is actually, this is the website, creativecommons.com, but it says 2 billion works and counting. Explore these featured Creative Commons license resources, from literary works to videos to photos to audio, open education, scientific research. All this is information that people have created and are letting other people use. Okay, so, okay, now, oops, did I skip? Oops, all right, so if you look on Google, you'll see there's a way of looking at Google. Actually, it must be a slide I either erased or skipped over, that you can look at Google, Flickr, all these content, SoundCloud, that show content, and it will tell you the licenses that you could use. So this is a way of getting content, pictures, sound, video, very inexpensively. Okay. Okay, so often you hear in regards to social media, funnels. What is a funnel? And so this is an illustration of a funnel, is that, okay, you have people who've never heard of you. That's cold traffic. And they will have to become aware of your service. So that's the top of the funnel. So that's lead generation. And these are some of the tools that you use to get people aware of you. Social media, paid ads, content marketing, search engine optimization. This is just to get the people aware of you. After they become aware of you, you want to develop a relationship. So often they say social media is like dating. It's, you're getting to know the person, they're getting to know you, they're getting to know your services. So this is what happened. They become a prospect. So you use tools to develop that relationship. You may be giving them free information. You give them ebooks. They are sitting in on podcasts, all these different ways to develop a relationship with you. And again, they're going down the funnel, email, they're getting free trials, and eventually they become a client. And this is typically how, you buy in this, these steps. Well, practically anything and everything. Occasionally, you might hit somebody at the right time. They see an ad and, oh, that's exactly what I want. Boom, they become a client. And I had that happen to people. I told them, this is, when I was working with a customer, that's rare. But they ran an ad and they just had to a new town that their product wasn't known in. And they got a customer, somebody called them that day. I said, that's rare. Don't expect that. Normally, it takes time to build a relationship with these people. They got to see you. They got to know you. They got to develop trust before they become a client. But occasionally, it works. People see it. They say, I was just thinking about that, and I'm going to buy it right now. So So this is what, this is a classic funnel: lead generation, development, and to prospect, opportunity, and the client. Now, what does this actually look like? Now, this is a flow chart of that same funnel. If you see on the side, awareness, opinion, consideration, preference, purchase. So this is someone who I believe is, I don't know how clear this is. I try to blow it up. This is someone who's selling a high cost course. And this is the funnel that we created for them. So they use Instagram, Facebook just to kind of build awareness. Once they got into the funnel, we started giving them videos. And retargeting is a very common process. Is okay, they saw something, I'm going to send them something else. I'm going to send them something else. I'm going to send them something else. So that's referred to as retargeting. And he retargeted them again. And then what was this? We gave them some free content. And depending on how they reacted, we may have to retarget them again. Then we're starting to build we're sending them emails all the time. So this is how we've taken them from, we never heard of you before. We became, we're aware of your product. We're becoming more and more familiar with you. We're starting to understand, we start to like you, we start to, and eventually you become a client, okay? So the whole thing about being in business is you want to keep people coming through the top of the funnel and bringing them down. Not everybody's going to reach the bottom, but the more people you put in that funnel, the more opportunities you have to sell. And that's really it. Social media allows you to make offers. I could go in my one of my jobs at Xerox when I first started years ago. I used to go office to office and try to sell copiers. Now that's just me, one at a time. Social media will let me put my message in front of 1,000 people, 2,000, 3,000 people. So that's the beauty of it. So instead of doing like one-on, you can put your message literally in front of thousands of people pretty inexpensively. So the more offers you make, the greater chances that somebody's going to buy it. And that's what social media is all about, putting offers in front of people. The more offers, the more opportunities you have to sell something, you're going to get customers. So usually it works off, it's a lot of testing. You might test, you might say, okay, I have this ad, I have this target. I'm going to test with, $10 a day. You figure out how you get it so it works. Then you know that if I spend $100, I'm going to get $150 in sales. Then you just keep doing that. And that's what social media is all about. So hopefully, let's see, okay, that's pretty much the end of my presentation. Again, if you want more information, send me an email. I put out a regular email list, sharing some of the things that I showed with you, dealing with, strategy, different tools to use, and keep on, it's a very effective way of building your business and growing your business. Okay? Any questions?
Okay.
Ed,